Hello, all you guys. It is 2016, y'all. Yeah, new year, new Gintama chapter. Finally, cool. It's been 2 weeks, 2 long weeks. Gonna get to see more of what's going on here. This is another Gintama chapter review provided by the Life Lessons Gintama Manga podcast feed. And yeah, we're going to be covering chapter 570 today. Pit of the Stomach or Abyss of the Innards, as is in parentheses. So yeah, I hope everybody had a good holiday and all that stuff. But now it's time to get back to work, I guess. And by work, I mean recording silly things about silly cartoons and or comics and all that stuff, because apparently you guys like listening to these. But anyway, before I get on to my thoughts proper, I do want to remind you that if you have not read chapter 570, or if you are listening to the normal Life Lessons podcast and are not and have not read past where we are in the podcast, then please don't listen to this. I don't want to spoil you. I'll give you a couple seconds. Okay, they're gone. Good. So let's talk about chapter 570. There's not really a lot I want to talk about with this chapter, I'll be honest. It was pretty straightforward. Mostly action, honestly. I guess really my whole thing is just basically trying to figure out Bakuyasu, the fake Gintoki that apparently Bato ran into during the Amanto War. I cannot believe that character exists. Like, why is he dressed up as Gintoki during the war anyway? Like, does he just admire Gintoki and we just don't know it? Like, I hate to say it, but Bakuyasu is probably the most interesting thing about this chapter. I really shouldn't be saying that, but he is. Like, I want to know where this guy came from. I want to know how this guy ended up in the war. Like, sometimes I used to wonder, well, it's funny, Sakamoto just kind of wandered into the war. I wonder how that happened. No, I feel like this guy has more of a backstory. I want to see more Bakuyasu. And I legitimately mean that too. I want to see more of this guy. I want to know I want to know what his story is. But yeah, as we find out in the chapter, he apparently, it's just kind of a coincidence that he's dressed up like Gin, and apparently he only ran into Bato because I think he was in the middle of trying to deliver snacks to Gintoki and the army or whatever, because I guess he wasn't really so much of a fighter as much as he was like a gopher or an errand boy, pretty much. And Gintoki makes a bunch of comments, talking about how much of a fighter he's not, and which yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, what little we got of Bakuyasu fighting against Bato, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of weird because, I don't know, to me, it seemed like he was holding his own against Bato pretty fine, but I mean, but that's also probably because, as we find out later, through some kind of weird thing, that it seemed like Bakuyasu was only doing, or not doing well, but at least holding his own against Bato because Bato could sense Gintoki's killing intent from farther away. So that's why I guess that's why he thought he was fighting. That's why he thought he was fighting Gin, because I guess Gin's killing intent was so strong that Bato felt like he was closer to him than he actually thought, which I guess, sure, I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of, like, I kind of can understand that, but I feel like that's a little forced. I mean, yeah, Gin is awesome, but I'm not sure if he's that awesome. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've only read this chapter like 2 times before I started recording this, so maybe I'll warm up more to the idea when this gets animated, and because I honestly had a bit of a hard time following this chapter and why Bato mistook Bakuyasu for Gintoki. I don't know. Like, it was, I get it's a joke, but it's also really weird just how kind of like roundabout it is a bit, because, at first it's like, oh, I finally met the person I fought all those years ago. Oh, it was actually the wrong person. Oh, wait, I was actually right the first time. Like, it just feels kind of weird to me, honestly. Yeah, so that, I mean, it doesn't bother me, and I don't think it's bad, but it's just very convoluted in a way, I think, in a sense. But other than that, I mean, the fight is so far pretty cool. Pretty intense at times. There is a scene where Gin looks like he was cut in half by Bato's beam saber, and then Gin's upper half, his torso tries to land another blow on Bato while he's cut in half, but it turns out that Bato is killing clones of Gintoki, and I don't mean that literally. Like, again, and this is where the confusion started because at first I really thought Gin had got cut in half. I don't know, like I went through this weird roller coaster of thoughts and emotions where I was like, oh my god, did that really happen? No, that didn't happen. Gin's not gonna die, at least not this soon. And then, you see Gin trying to get his last move in there, and it's like, oh my god, this is so cool, he's trying to get in his last move before he dies. Oh wait, no, he's not actually there. Oh wait, there are multiple Gintokis. What is going on? I think I literally said to myself, what the fuck, at least like 3 times in a row, because I honestly I didn't know what was happening at one point. I was like, what is going on? Why does Gintoki know Shadow Clone Jutsu? When did he turn into Naruto? This is really weird. Again, I think I get what Sorachi was trying to do, because, again, the whole thing is that I think Gin's multiple clones or illusions or whatever, that obviously that's not actually happening. That's just what Bato sees through his Satori eye or whatever. And, that's supposed to be a projection of his huge killing intent, of his desire to want to kill Bato, which I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's fine. Geez, yeah. And, I mean, other than that, it is nice to see, because we do see at the end of the chapter that Gin ends up stabbing through one of Bato's wrists, which I think is nice poetic justice, nice revenge there for Sakamoto. That was nice. That was really cool. I can tell that this fight is only just getting started. It's probably just going to get even more savage in the next chapter. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say other than parts of this chapter were confusing. Parts of it were sort of convoluted. Parts of it were intense. I don't know if I would... I don't know. Maybe, like, I don't know. This is one of those things where, like, upon my first or second reads, I'm not going to be totally too into certain ideas, but I think as I reread this chapter in particular, I'll probably get used to the execution and what Sorachi was going for. But for now, it's like, man, this was... Again, I'm not saying this chapter's bad, because I liked it. It was good, but it was still, like, the second half of the chapter was so convoluted in a way, almost very roundabout, in the way that things ended up clearing itself up with the whole, basically how the whole misunderstanding between Bato and Gin cleared up, I guess. I wonder if we're going to find out what exactly happened between Gintoki and Bato's impersonator. Now I kind of want to know what his backstory is, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get that, because, again, most of this is all just kind of for the joke. I don't know if it's probably not going to be important, and if it ends up that way, that's fine with me. But yeah, I liked it. I think I liked the last chapter a bit more. I don't know. I'm very mixed about this one. But I think I would give it like a solid. I think I would give it like a solid 7, either a solid 7 or a solid 6. 6 or 7 out of 10, I think, is what I would give this chapter, honestly. Again, not a bad chapter, and I certainly do not hate it. I don't think I've ever read a chapter of the manga or watched an episode of the anime for Gintama that I've ever hated. Like, that just doesn't happen. But yeah, good chapter. I liked it. Had its weird, not problems, but weird aspects about it, but I still liked it. And I think that's it in a nutshell. So, thank you guys for listening. I think, just so you guys know, this week's issue of Jump was another double issue for New Year's, I believe. So, there's not going to be another chapter review next week, because Jump will be on break again. But yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know that this is around the time of year where, there's 2 issues of Jump within the span of 4 weeks, starting from Christmas week all the way up to the second or third week of the new year. So there won't be a chapter next week. My review for chapter 571 will probably be up, depending on when the chapter comes out, obviously. Will probably not be up until Monday the 18th or Tuesday the 19th. So yeah, just I'll let you guys know that. So yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and please visit the website at gintalifelessons.wordpress.com. You can listen to us on the Stitcher Smart Radio app. You can listen to us on Player FM. You can follow us on Facebook.com, Twitter.com, and YouTube.com/GintaMangaCast. That's GintaMangacast, Ginta MangaCast. Those are pretty much all of your all the ways you can contact us or visit the website if you want to listen to these reviews, or if you just don't feel like listening through iTunes. I don't know. Oh, that's another thing too. Subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. That's always very helpful. I won't give out the email only because I'm not planning on reading emails during this. So just because I just kind of want to review the chapter and kind of get it out there. This is meant to be more of a quick thing, not a. This isn't meant to be like a normal podcast like Life Lessons is. So that's the only reason I don't give it out. But I'm probably going to start giving out my website and contact info at the end of all these, just to further elongate the review. So anyway, chapter probably won't be out until Monday the 18th, and hopefully the review for that will follow suit. So hopefully everybody enjoyed my quick and short thoughts on chapter 570, and we'll see you guys next time for chapter 571. Bye, guys.